Welcome to another day in my kitchen where I make from scratch snacks and meals for my family. That was my little one filling up the measuring cups with water. That's why there was a towel on the floor. Here I am just preparing to bake the chocolate chip cookie dough that I had sitting in my fridge 2 days prior because I made homemade butter and it turned out amazing. I just didn't have time to bake the cookies then. So I'm just going to throw these 12 chocolate chip cookies in the oven, and I will also be baking banana bread. I will be making pretzels, bagels, rolls, brownies, granola bars, and sandwich loaf bread. I know it sounds like a lot, and at this point I was also making breakfast because this was before I had fed my children, and also prepping chili for dinner and some sausages. So it was a full day in my kitchen, but these are the days that I truly enjoy. Some people ask me what I do for fun. People who know me, I love a clean home and I love making stuff. It took me a long time to really accept the fact that this is one of the places I am really good at. I am good in the kitchen, and yet it was the place I always said I hated to be, truly. But I'm always in the kitchen, and I have learned to cut out a lot of the toxic ingredients that has been added to all our foods. I'm still trying to get as much possible made from scratch foods, but it is still a learning curve. I'm still trying to figure out how to eliminate things without eliminating the good tasting part of it, which you can remove so many things from your food, but you have to replace it with something that tastes so good so that people still want to eat it. This is the easiest banana bread you will ever make. So it is 2 cups of flour, it is half a cup of brown sugar, a tablespoon or 2 of cinnamon, the ripest bananas you can find. Mine were not that ripe, but they did the job. They really did the job. A half cup of butter or a little bit extra. Sometimes I use a full cup depending on the texture that I'm looking for. And rather than adding vanilla syrup, I like to use honey. Honey to me gives it such a good taste and texture. Also, half a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, and you mix it all up and you bake at 350 for 25 to 30 minutes, and you will have the best tasting banana loaf bread ever. It's so simple to make, few ingredients, and super tasty. A little backstory on me. So my work history has been with food. I have worked in restaurants, I have owned a small luncheonette, I have worked for the Department of Education in school food, I have done training in food, and yet I always tell people that my least favorite spot in my home or of all times is the kitchen. And it isn't true, because I'm truly finding my joy in the kitchen. For me, it has always been an issue because of foods. So managing food and watching what you're eating can be very difficult. And I have learned as I've gotten older and as each kid I've had, I have definitely gotten more allergies, and I do have celiac, which means I cannot tolerate gluten. So although I am making all these delicious snacks, I am not supposed to have any gluten because I have a really bad reaction to it. And I actually have been eating lots and lots of gluten lately, which is why I have severe flare-ups. So my point to sharing that is, although I am making all these delicious snacks for this week ahead, I will not be touching them. So I plan on jumping in to gluten-free desserts and making as much as possible without gluten. So that's going to be a lot of trial and error, because in order for me to continue to be in the kitchen and enjoy what I'm doing and spread some joy and share these recipes that I have learned to make, I have to be real with myself, and I need to stop with the gluten. Even though it's delicious, and yes, sourdough is amazing, it's great for your gut, it's easier to break down, but for someone with celiac, you really have to give up the gluten. So all these delicious snacks, I'm so grateful that I have so many people that are going to enjoy it because my love was poured out into it, and it feels so good. Look at how delicious that banana bread looks, and my son told me it was so tasty. I'm glad that little hands were nearby because I so badly wanted to take a little nibble. I am so grateful that God has been working on me, that He has transformed my heart and has filled me with joy. It has taken me quite a while to get to this point of feeling joy in my spirit over the change in my life of being a stay-at-home mom. I have worked outside the home since I'm a young girl, before I even had children, and then working while I've had children. And I know that there are so many people that still do that. But there was a craving in my soul that needed to be home to raise my younger children. I have children that are off to college, but I still have toddlers. And God knew that He was working on this path. And it's been trial and error. It's been exhausting and overwhelming, and learning how to navigate through it, being a woman that chased goals, being a woman that wanted to earn her own money. Although I am married and we are a team, I still had this brainwashed mentality that I am supposed to have all things only of my own doing, because the world, society has brainwashed and continues to do so to young women and girls. It teaches us that we're supposed to be these go-getters and that we shouldn't rely or depend on men to take care of us. And although you can be an independent woman and a working woman, a marriage is a covenant. It is a commitment between husband and wife that has places for there to be strengths and weaknesses, for there to be growth, challenges, love, and for there to be hope and faith in this relationship. Speaking from experience, I understand this desire to feel that you need to do more, because there are days I still struggle with that, as if spending hours in my kitchen, making all these meals from scratch, homeschooling my children, doing the laundry, cleaning the home, paying the bills isn't enough. I sometimes still desire more, some of my old life, but God continues to work on me. And He has told me that He has placed me in this life to train up my children, to disciple them, because this world can be deceiving. And although my mother was a homemaker and she took care of the home well, she made meals, she cleaned the home, she kept us, it was something I didn't desire to do. And I know that in this world, there are homes where the mom works, so then the young girls follow those footsteps because they believe they have to be these go-getters. And it is a great trait to have if you are a achiever, a high achiever, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go and achieve outside your home, or that you hold less value because you are a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home wife. It actually says in Proverbs 31 that you are highly blessed. You are highly favored because God has called you to walk this path. You are the keeper of your home, the keeper of your children, and you are worth more than rubies. You are worthy and capable. And I think that's so important that we focus on what God's word says and not what the world tells us we're supposed to be. Yes, you can be a woman who works and holds a family. You are capable, but not all of it is going to get all of you. I have worked outside the home, and I've been a great businesswoman. I've been a good employee. But there was things I was lacking in my home. And then I wanted to believe I can do all of it 100%, but some of it doesn't get done because it's impossible for one person, one woman to carry all that load and continue to just be content and have this joyful spirit. My message to you is, if you are a homemaker, find joy in the mundane, find joy in the everyday tasks. Pray about it. Ask God to transform your heart. And if it is something you are seeking as a working woman, work towards it. Speak to your husband. Pray it out. Put the words out there. And I hope that you find joy in your season. The last time that I shared making these mini bagels and mini rolls, I received so many questions asking why I would make them so tiny. How could you make a sandwich in these tiny bagels? So these tiny bagels and these mini rolls are for my little ones. They are 3 and 5 and they have small hands and not as big of an appetite as adults do. So I make them small so we eliminate waste. And here I am making the chocolate chip twist. Pretzel twist. It came out so beautifully. I'm so pleased. And my favorite part about making my sandwich loaf recipe is that I have used it to make all of these things. I made one recipe. I was able to make bagels, rolls, pretzels, this chocolate twist from the same recipe. I think that is so convenient, so easy to follow. You can make the recipe and then use it to form whatever you want, and the taste is delicious. If you're making something sweet, you can add a more of a small amount of sugar or honey, or you can add chocolate chips, cheese. It is so convenient to use this recipe. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you were able to catch some great recipes and encouraging words, and I would love if you stick around. Thank you for being here.